I'm joined by one Detroit contributors, Nolan Finley, who is the editorial page editor at the Detroit News, and Zoe Clark, who is the political director for Michigan Public. Guys, welcome to the island.
Hello.
Yet again, welcome to the desk. All right, so what's the headline this year on Mackinac? What is it that we're trying to get done during this 3 days of horses and fudge and taffy?
Well, I think one of the things we're trying to get done is translate the policy ideas that people are kicking around up here, into actual legislation. And I think there's a lot of work being done to get the lawmakers, the legislative leaders who are here to actually, and the governor, to sit down together and come up with some sort of consistent strategy. So we're not every few years throwing out everything and starting over. I think there's an appetite amongst the business and community leaders up here for some consistency. And I would say consistency is the key word of this conference.
So if you're a business leader, you're up here, what is it that you're looking for the legislature to get done? What are the issues that you want them focused on?
Some consistent policy on business attraction, some consistent policy on workforce training, fixing our schools, some ideas for housing and addressing this housing crisis we have. Too many people who make decent incomes still can't afford housing in this state, particularly younger people.
Yeah.
These are things that are going to show up in a slowdown in our growth over the next 20, 25 years if we don't get out ahead of them today.
Zoe, the legislature has not even finished the budget yet
They
this
have
year,
not?
which used to be a big issue up here sometimes. I mean, there would be this crisis because got to get it done by the end of Mackinac because, they're not around most of the summer, and then you're up against it in the fall.
Right.
There doesn't seem to be as much panic this year about it, but they are behind.
And so it feels very prescriptive this year, right? Like both the House, this is sort of how things work. The House votes on their budget. The Senate votes on their budget. The governor, of course, gave her executive recommendation back in February of what she would like to see. And then what needs to happen is the three sides need to come together and figure out what the plan is. Now, statutorily, they're meant to have it done by July 1st.
Yeah.
And, people who have a fiscal year that begins July 1st would very much like to know
where their
whether
money's
you're a
coming from.
school or a teacher. You'd like to know how much money is coming in.
Yeah.
So certainly, though, there are conversations that will happen on this island vis-a-vis the budget. And again, as we were talking about, whether it's this innovation fund, whether it's, the SOAR fund, that are going to play into all of the political machinations in Lansing downstate.
Yeah. People back home in Detroit sometimes say, well, these people go upstate and jawbone for 3 days and nothing happens.
We do.
But let's talk about some things that actually have happened here. We've gotten some really important things done in the state.
Don't dismiss that jawboning aspect of it, because there are a lot.
You're saying that that's the point.
I didn't say it's a point. I said it's not. It's not a distraction. I think it's one of the points, because you come up here, you meet a lot of people, you get to spend some real time with folks talking about things. Relationships get built. We've seen a lot of deals get done on the porch over the years, and some major developments happen. So that getting the people together who never get together anywhere else is not an insignificant piece of it.
Yeah. Zoe, what do you think?
Well,
people at
politically
home
speaking,
should be looking
look, there's things like we've talked about before happening here, the Gordie Howe Bridge, the bankruptcy. I mean, right? I mean, these were big, sort of novel ideas that happened. Politically speaking, I can tell you right now, from my view, while you two were talking, I'm looking at a possible gubernatorial candidate out the window, meeting with a possible funder of said candidate. Could that be what they're talking about?
Now you've said that, you've got to say who that is.
So, I mean,
Zoe.
part of what you're seeing happen on this island is the connections that are being made for the future of this state. Whether you like that or not, that's what happens here.
Yeah. What about successes that we have in the state that we should be building on? right now. I mean, when we think about Detroit, of course, we've got a streak of wins going that we haven't seen in a long time.
And I talked with the governor Wednesday morning, or the mayor, Wednesday morning, and he is sort of basking in the glow. I mean, he talked about his,
right now, right?
He talked about his first appearance at Mackinac as mayor 11 years ago. Walked up the hill, and we were in the middle of bankruptcy, and he wasn't really in charge of Detroit, and
That's right.
and it was all, oh my God, are we going to get through this?
Yeah.
Well, we're well through it now, 11 years later, and he is sort of kicking back and basking in it. I think he's very pleased with himself.
And I think Duggan's speeches at this conference, since that first one,
They've been epic.
They have been epic, right? And also we should note how he'll do it with just notes on a notepad. I mean, people come now and sit in these sessions to watch him. And I'll also be clear, not everybody's coming for all the sessions.
Right.
Again, a lot of folks,
of
they are, but people come in and they come and watch it. And I think it can't not be noted the fact that, again, as we've been talking about, population growth and the city of Detroit and all the work that Duggan has done vis-a-vis the census to say, I don't agree with these numbers.
Yeah, Washington Post had
an editorial
saying he's right.
The mayor of Detroit is right. I talked to him about it. He said it was the last thing he ever expected to see.
He's got it pasted across his suit here.
He just became a subscriber, too, I hear. At the
That's
Post.
right, a paid subscriber to the Washington Post. All right, quick question. Fudge, taffy.
Oh, fudge.
Oh, fudge,
Cranberry.
Stephen
You're both wrong.
Henderson.
Cranberry fudge.
No, you're not
I can't believe I
taffy.
asked you. Taffy.
Cranberry fudge.
The fudge is gross.
No.
Watch One Detroit, Thursday at 7:30 p.m.
You can find more at onedetroitpbs.org or subscribe to our social media channels and sign up for our One Detroit newsletter.